Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Wave the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka Mini Wargamer Kris, aka The Name Butcher, aka Mala Case. Wave the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. If you're a first-time viewer, we usually delve into a lot of painting talk as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning no topics barred. Anything's up for grabs. We'll talk about anything. You name it, we'll talk about it. If it's a subject matter, we'll talk about it. Of course, if you are a first-time viewer, you can ask your questions in the chat if you're attending live, which is over that way. One of those ways. There's a chat over there. Of course, if you are watching after the fact, you're watching this as after it's been recorded, it's been posted and all that. You can ask your questions to Kris@miniwargaming.com. It's in the description below. Of course, you can also join me at waythebrush.com. That is the central hub of all this silliness. It's links to the Discord, Instagrams, Twitter, and all that goodness. The Discord has been a lot of fun. As you can see, we have our Discord up here, and you can see. Oh, see, is George asking, is there a show today? Yes, there is a show today, George. I don't know if he asked that a few moments ago, but anyway. Yeah, so Discord's been a lot of fun. It's been really fantastic. It's a great way to stay connected with you guys, and and of course for other people to intermingle as well. A lot of the longtime viewers, they're very knowledgeable folk, and so if you have any questions, they will most likely be able to help you. Of course, this is saying pre-recorded in the corner, which is incorrect because that's not true. Oh, you know what? Here, let's kick this up here. Here we go. Look at that. We got a little bit of a chat going on in the bottom here. I can see Grim. I can see Ramvi, Johnny's Chop Shop. Sorry, I'm just pulling up mine here. Hold on. Pulled up the wrong one. There we go. Okay. So, speaking of monkeys, yeah, I can see Enforcer 357. Good afternoon, monkeys and Kris. G2 Hey, monkeys. Will this work? I don't know. Ram V. Hey, you monkeys. Hey, Kris. Ebb and Flow. Sup, everybody. Ram V. Whoop, whoop. Matthew Dammy. Can we bring back Carrot Top Owen to Way the Rush? I don't know. Owen's been very busy. Actually, Owen, as far as I understand, recently, got moved up in the world, and so he's got a lot more responsibilities on his plate these days. So, yeah, as far as I understand it, anyway. I haven't talked to him personally. It's just from what I've heard. Ghost Star Band Deluxe, another pre-recorded episode. No, I took that off. That was incorrect. Johnny Chop Shop, Dance Monkey Dance. Ram V, I'm working on Age of Sigmar and 40k Army, then saw Kill Team launch Dark Eldar. Crap. Grim, over on Twitch. Howdy. George, no Twitch? No Twitch. There should be Twitch. Yeah, there's Twitch. Twitch is there. Not sure where George is, but yeah, there's a Twitch. J Plasma. I'm actually able to catch the show. Well, welcome, J Plasma. Is this Plasma Plays? It's been a while. Congo just got decided on a color scheme for the Tribal Guard. Tribal Guard. What's Tribal Guard? Like Tribal Guard? Like are they just guard running around like loincloths, or like they look like regular Imperial Guard, but they got like tribal designs on them? Is that the kind of thing? Like which way are we talking about? Tribal design. Ebb and Flow. Oh my God, Kris, did you get a haircut? No, I actually haven't gotten a haircut in like 2 weeks. So I'm actually due. See, I usually keep it a little. I'm trying to figure out which way I'm turning my head here. See, I usually keep it a little shorter than this. Now, since what, May? I got a haircut in May, and so yeah, and you know, this is as soon as the hair started going past my ear, then I know it's definitely time for a haircut. But I just didn't bother combing it down too, you know, sternly today, and so I just kind of let it poof up because again, you know, the haircut gets a little long and all that jazz, right? So, yeah. Jim White, episode 217. Yes, it's a live show. David Vaughn, got my first 3D printer. Very excited. Very cool. What kind of 3D printer did you get? Did you get one that is like a spool fed? Or is it like one of them fancy resin ones? Or, you know, which one? And which brand did you get? And how you liking it? Because we, at the office, we had the, what was it, Prusa? The Prusa 3D? I think that was what it's called. Anyway, it worked pretty well. You know, it's got its uses. It does have limitations, just because of the nozzle, you know, and the material you're working with, right? But I mean, you know, I've had my eye on the Dremel one, the Dremel 3D printer. Now I realize, you know, ooh, it's Dremel. It's, you know, it's gonna be marked up quite a bit, but I like Dremel products, and Dremel products, as far as I've been working with them, have stood the test of time. My Dremel rotary tool has worked for me for, man, so 8 years, 8 plus, yeah, at least 15 years of use. So yeah, a lot of work. Grim, like Feral World Guard or something? Yeah, I don't know. Is that what it is? Like, are they like, you know, like Savage Orcs where they're just in loincloths and with las guns, or are they look like Cadians but they got like tribal designs and stuff on them? That's what I want to know. Fear School, morning. Congo, Imperial Guard, but like trophy racks and stuff. Oh, okay. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. You have to send me pictures now, man. Ebb and Flow, Kris. I know, but someone asks each episode. I figured it'd be me this time. Oh, right. David Vaughn, yes. Spool fed. Creality Ender 3. Very good for the price. Okay, I'll have to check that one out. Creality Ender. I don't know if I'm kind of liking that name though. Creality, because creality sounds like creativity, right? And reality, Ender. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to end the creativity. You don't want to end reality. I think they got to go back and rework that name, because that doesn't make me confident in something that's supposed to spark my imagination and bring forth the things in my imagination. You know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, Raziel, I'm here. John J. to Kris and the Monkeys. David Vaughn, 160. 160, really? Wow, that's very, very affordable for anybody looking to get into the 3D printing game. Now, do you have to assemble the whole unit yourself, or did it come all pre-assembled? Because I know with the Prusas, you can get them both, but it's cheaper if you get it, like, you know, all in parts, and you can just assemble it yourself. I'd rather just, you know, have them assemble it. I mean, you know, I'll mess it up somewhere. Raziel, sort of at work. Oh, okay. Ram V, what do you guys work on? I'm curious. What do you guys work on? Or what is everybody working on? What is everybody working on? That is the question. I'm not working on anything at the moment, although I have, on my work desk right now, I have a whole bunch of Eldar screws on my one work desk right now. And at my work desk in the office, I have 2 Eldar Warlock Sears that I got on jet bike that I got to finish. I want to try and get them finished for the tournament next weekend. So yeah, so heads up, no show next weekend, unless of course the Wi-Fi is strong enough there that I can do live. Then I might do some live there. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. So I'm going to Sword and Brush next weekend. It's in Toronto. Well, it's in Mississauga, but it's in Toronto. Swordandbrush.com. That's where I'm going next weekend. Next weekend? Yeah, it's next weekend. It's the 8th and 9th. Right? I gotta pull up the calendar now. Yeah. So there won't be a show on the 8th. Okay, just so you guys know. so the poo flinging doesn't start early. But yeah, Sword and Brush. I'll be there if you're in Canada or you're close, or you're in the U.S. and you're close by, or you're visiting from another place and you'll be in Toronto at on those dates. Come by, check it out. You know, I'll be there. It'll be my first time going. I've never been there before, and you know, if it's a regular kind of convention that's going to be going on in Canada, I'd like to support it. I'd like to see it get bigger. You know, especially because, you know, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot in Canada going on, especially for wargaming. I don't know why that is. Canada's full of nerds, and I don't know why we wouldn't have more of these kind of conventions. So, you know, why not? Vasily. Kris, do you show the chat now? Yeah, sure, why not? Sir Peanut Butter, what if I'm a Martian monkey? All are welcome. All are welcome. David Vaughn, partial assembly. Assembly the major components very easy. Okay. J Plasma, honestly, it's not hard to build the 3D printer. No, I mean, it's just a frame. You just got to make sure that the tolerances are there, and you know, all the, you know, the little chain bits are at the right length. And yeah, I get it, but still, I'll mess it up. Plasma, I keep forgetting to send you an email, Kris. I gotta update you on my projects. Yeah, please. Russ Sandbags, will GW ever make Exodites? And if so, will you collect them? If they made Exodites, oh yeah, you bet your ass I'd collect them. Definitely. Of course, the Exodites would have to be mostly different, right? Now, if anything, I could see them doing Exodites in Age of Sigmar. Just for whatever reason, I could see that happening. An elf race that rides dinosaurs. I could see that. In 40K, I can see it too, but like, how does it, you know what I mean? Like, is the scenario for the Exodites always somebody's attacking their world? That kind of narrative might get dry after a while, right? The Exodites are always on their world, and the Necrons come, and then the Tyranids come, and then the Space Marines come, and then, you know, always imagining a narrative to the game, right? Which helps and makes the game richer and makes the game better. But, you know, it's just, how many times can you imagine that scenario that, oh, they're under invasion again, you know, oh man, I'm constantly being invaded, you know? I don't know. It just, I mean, it'd be great. I mean, like, guys, I mean, like the way, you know, like some of the dinosaur creatures they've been making, you know, for like Fire Slayers and like Lizard Men, and you know what I mean. Totally could see it, but is it gonna happen? I don't know. You know, are they simply going to be a proxy of Craftworld Eldar, just riding dinosaurs? That would be boring. That would be boring. I would like to see something entirely different for Eldar, right? We have Eldar who are fast and good in close combat. We have Eldar that are armored and good at shooting, and we have Eldar that are fast and in your face. So what would Exodite Eldar be? How could Exodite Eldar fit within the grand scheme of Eldar, being, you know, the glass cannon kind of thing, but, you know, what would make them different and interesting? Johnny Shop, Kris, how do you restart your mojo? Oh man, usually good drunk. No, I can't recommend that. I don't, you know, it's challenges. It's challenging yourself every day to do something different, to do something new, to explore new areas that you had not explored before. You know, don't have too many distractions in front of you. Minimalize. Have one project at a time in front of you and just work on just that. You know, that should keep you somewhat in the game. Nathaniel, has Kris answered any emails so far? No, I have not. We're only a few minutes into the show and I've been blabbering on. Matthew, they already have elves riding dinosaurs. They're dark elves riding cold ones. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, and that's probably why we've never seen Exodites, because Games Workshop's going, Well, we already got, cold ones. Do we really need, Eldar snipers on cold ones? Right? Actually, it'd be kind of cool. Matthew. So Exodites equal France. They're both always being invaded. Or Poland. Razia, holy crap. I'm working on Imperial Fists and Slaves to Darkness Army. Very cool. Vasily, maybe they'll master the webway travel without using portals and some engines. They'll use some kind of badass nature psychers. Sure. Right? I mean, let's expand upon, Exodites. Let's, what else, could how can they be different from the other Eldar, right? Because, I mean, Dark Eldar are not the same as Craftworld Eldar, and they're not the same as Harlequins. So Exodites, you know what I mean? Like slapping Guardians on cold ones and saying they're jet bikes. That's just Craftworld Eldar. That'd be really boring. Do something different. Show me something else, Give me something else. Give me a different style of play. But still feeling Eldar, right? Because Eldar's glass cannon, so they'd have to be fast and deadly. Right? That's Eldar, fast and deadly. So how do Exodites, fit into that? Emperor Champion. I honestly think Exodites need to be just be squatted, unless they work the fluff beyond just elf riding dinosaurs. Right? Exactly. Right? Well, and that's, I mean, in the fluff, it still kind of makes sense for the Eldar, because then the Eldar, if they ever want to increase Eldar and maybe make more craft worlds, you know what I mean? Maybe Eldar experience, a renaissance, as it were, from the Maiden Worlds, and maybe they abandon craft worlds and they join forces with the Exodites, and then they, start a new Eldar empire, and then it's a story of expansion from that point, right? Because that's the way they always describe the Maiden Worlds, is that, they're going to be the launching points for the Eldar, and that's why the Eldar are always fighting over the Maiden Worlds, because they know that when their time comes again, if it does, that's where they're going to launch their new offensives from, is the Maiden Worlds. And so, something like that, right? So Exodites are always going to be there, right? And it's fluffy. Nathaniel, Kris, correct pronunciation on first try. You're the first one ever so far. Ah, woohoo! Yay me. I don't know. Matthew's going on about history of sorts. Talendor, Kris, could you also say that Eldar are silent? The Eldar are silent? Well, for the most, I mean, sure. I mean, unless we're coming to a punchline, but yeah, I mean, like, for the most part, they stay quiet in the universe, right? Because, I mean, they're trying to survive, and I mean, you don't go on the path of trying to survive by being really loud, telling everybody where you are, pick a fight with me. No, you stay quiet. You stay in the shadows. You say, hey, stuff's getting real around here. I'm gonna bug out, Matthew, so like Ashes, Exodite, Shining Spear, Cold Ones. Sure. I don't know. I haven't seen them. The Dr. Pepper Machine. That's a great name. Going to paint anything out of the new Battle for Pelennor Fields box, Kris? No. I've still been working on the Mini Wargaming Painting Academy. It's taking a little longer than expected, but I think it's going to be really good when it's all said and done. But yeah, no. Oh, actually, no. I did paint something actually for a quick tip. I just did a video yesterday for Blood and Plunder. So expect that next week. It's just painting up a pirate. Yeah, just doing a pirate. Just showing a really fast, quick, easy way of getting a tabletop model, right? Just bang, done. Blood and Plunder. Here's how you're going to get them done quickly and look pretty good, if I say so. Vasily, but what we really need is Space Skaven. There's always an easy race to introduce, since they're sneaky and secretive, and humans try to hide the fact of their existence. Well, apparently that's what the Harud were supposed to be. If you look at the 3rd edition rulebook for 40k, there's a picture of a Harud, and it looks like a Skaven with like a cowl over him, and then he's like holding like a shotgun or whatever. And apparently, the rumors were that was supposed to, the Harud were supposed to be the Skaven in 40k, and that was, you know, going to be a thing for 40k. That, you know, but honestly, I think they're going to go. I think for 40k, I think they're going to, the Skaven. I think when they get redone for Age of Sigmar, I think they're going to do something really fun with them. I suspect that Skaven will get quite an update for Age of Sigmar. Telendor, or silent but deadly. Well, both. They're silent and deadly. Reziel, the foul Xenos Eldar time in the universe is past. The Imperium of Man shall aid in ushering them from the material realm. Well, I've been reading the Horus Heresy books, and it sounds like the Imperium, like, if you read the Horus Heresy and then go by 40k, it sounds like the Age of Man is already on the downward swing, so, yeah. Unless, of course, Gilliman, you know, re-ushers in a new age for humanity. Who knows, right? Be kind of cool. Well, I mean, oh, yeah, and Ynnari. I forgot all about Ynnari for Eldar. Because it's a brand new faction, right? Ynnari. Army of the Dead. You know? Because the legends in all the previous books is that Ynid was the god of the dead, and that once, you know, there was enough souls in him that would birth a new chaos god. Essentially, Ynid was supposed to be a new chaos god. That's kind of changed now, I guess, but Matthew, liar! You used them before. You used them in Ash's Eldar army before. Oh, when we played our game, right? Yeah, I knew that, Matt. I knew that. I was testing you. I was seeing how, if you remember. I was seeing how closely you were paying attention. Ramvi, Kris, do you have an Age of Sigmar army? Would you start? What would you start to collect? You know what, Deepkin. I've already got the Leviathan or Leviathan. I like the big sharkies. I like the little squiddy sharkies. I'm not huge on the little foot soldiers, but I imagine you probably need a few of them. And the characters are just too damn cool, you know. So, yeah. No, I'm probably gonna start once I'm through some of these kind of big expenditures that I'm going through right now. I think I'll start buying more Deepkin, just because it's kind of like, I mean, they're elves, but it's not because they're elves, but because the opportunity for painting really interesting things are there, you know, like when you buy a Khorne army or Nurgle, there's a certain expectation as to what you should be coloring it, right? There's a certain color palette that's expected. Whereas with a bunch of fish people, you can go anywhere you like, especially with the fish, man. You can just go anywhere, right? That's what I like. I like having freedom like that. I like having freedom to just go wherever I want with it, you know? Yeah. Matthew, how did you do the wood deck for the base? Oh, for the plunder? You know what? I didn't even actually show that. I didn't show painting that. But I mean, like, I would use, like, okay, for you, Matthew, I mean, I would use a color like, say, you could use something like Zameshi Desert or, say, Baneblade Brown, something like a light brown color, and then take thinned out Egrax Earthshade and just apply it right over the base, right over it, right, like, just like that, and then leave it. And if need be, give it a light dry brush of, say, Ushabti Bone, just to get just the edges and stuff. And that's it. Just to really quickly bring out that texture. That's all you need. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Anyone else big hype for Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress? I'm kind of curious. I think it'll be fun. I don't know. I mean, like, because I mean, like, Warhammer Quest, crawling through dungeons, barbarian and torch in hand and a wizard. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I have an easier time with that setting. Talisman, right? Running around the board, fantasy type setting. And then they brought out Relic, which was 40k Talisman. I don't know, and I just didn't feel the vibe from it. You know what I mean? I didn't get the same vibe from it. And so Warhammer Quest, you know, in 40K, I don't know. I don't know. I'm probably wrong. It's probably going to be kick-ass, but I don't know. You know. Greenleaf terrain. Brown pants in the house. Okay, well, apparently Adam's wearing his brown pants today. Dr. Pepper Machine. Kris, what are your thoughts on Warhammer Conquest magazines coming out? I think it's fantastic. I think it's a really great idea. I really wish it was something offered over here, because I'd probably jump on it, because you're saving a whole whack ton on army miniatures, terrain. You know what I mean? Sure, you're not going to get this stuff over a year, but I mean, man, there's stuff I haven't touched in 2 years that I bought, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get right to it, and you know what I mean? And I never did, right? So, yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think it's, you know, I wish it was offered in more places. Raziel, it's funny that you say that. The mostly 30K, mostly at 30K saying, talking about Eldar being over. However, Dark Imperium is bringing back both New Doom and New Hope and strength for the Imperium in the 40K timeline. Sure, right? But who knows? They might do something for Eldar too. Eldar might be on the research, you know? I mean, again, the Maiden Worlds and Exodites are still part of the fluff. I mean, the Eldar could say, you know what? With the whole you need thing, that finally, you know, the Dark Eldar and Craftworld Eldar, they all combine into one big-ass faction and, you know, settle some whole sector of space, and that becomes the new Eldar Empire. Who knows? Who knows what they want to do, right? It all depends, because, I mean, I'm sure it's what they can sell is probably the bottom line, right? How do they sell it, you know? Bob, evening, fellas. Evening, Bob. Ebb and Flow, Kris, when people ask you painting your Deepkin that way, you can always tell them for the halibut. I'll see myself out. Yeah, you just sit down. Just sit down. Nathaniel. Anyway, WHQ, the PNP RPG they introduced on Gen Con this year. Yeah, that was a whole bunch of acronyms. I had no idea what any of that meant. What the? Oh, Warhammer Quest. Oh, okay. They introduced it with Gen Con this year? Okay. Did it look good? Did you go to Gen Con? Was it fun? Matthew Dammy, I just bought some rust and weathering powders to make some Gasland car. I have no idea how to use them. So my question is, how do you use weathering and rust powders? Well, Matthew, I'm sure you've heard me say this a million times, but I do have many videos in Mini Wargaming's vault on how to do that. On how to use the powders. There's about really two basic ways. Like fundamentally, there's two basic ways you can apply the powders. You can either apply them directly to the model, or you can actually tap and let the powder fall and build up. And that actually creates a really cool barnacle-y kind of rust effect on a model. It's really kind of cool. It's fun. You're gonna need mineral spirits, or some people use isopropyl alcohol. Some people just use acrylic medium, but you're just making paint at that point. If you're taking medium and adding it to pigments, you're just making paint, and you might as well just use a paint, right? The pigments are for the fine graduated color and weathering, you know what I mean? And when you mix it with a wet medium, you get like tide marks. Now, when I'm saying about mineral spirits and rubbing alcohol, you use those to fix the pigments in place. So basically what you can do typically is you can either take the pigments on the brush, use an old brush, and tap them into where you want the pigments, and then just take like a little dollop of mineral spirits and just touch close to the areas and where the mineral spirits are, and you'll see those mineral spirits bleed in, and they will make that pigment adhere to that surface. And then of course you can seal the model, and that will keep the pigments in place. But know that when you seal a model with pigments, that it will actually bring the color of the pigments down a bit. So, you know, and if this is for playing models, You'll definitely want to seal the models. If this is for display, you can probably leave them, the pigments, open. But otherwise, yeah, that's it, really. Like I said, I've got many videos on it. I don't know, Matthew, are you still a Vault member or not? I don't know, but either way, yeah. I'm trying to think if on my channel I have any videos where I've used pigments. And honestly, I can't think of any videos that I did. So, yeah. Anyway. Hopefully that helps, Matt. Gets you some idea. Don't be afraid to use them. You just experiment with them and, try them out. Like I said, there's two ways you can apply them. You can apply them onto the model dry and then set them with mineral spirits or alcohol. Or you can set the mineral spirits down and then tap the pigments into it. And either way makes the pigments adhere to the surface. Raziel, I think the Eldar won't get anything radical soon at least. Transitioning from Craftworld to Maiden World would fundamentally rework the Eldar way of life. Right. It would. Right? But, the Imperium is cracked in half, so, what does that do for everybody? Nathaniel, no, I live in Germany. Hadn't had the time to get a flight vacation to go to Gen Con. Oh, okay. Johnny Shop Shop, still cleaning off my desk, looking for my lost mojo. We'll keep you updated. You need a dog, constant mojo giver. That's from Nathaniel. Sure, dog, why not? Because the cat will probably just walk through your work area all the time anyway and then sit right in front of you while you're trying to work on stuff. So that'd be annoying. But as far as your mojo, yeah, like I said, man, simplify. Just get everything out of the way. Look at your projects, and also look at, like, what's something you were afraid to try in painting? Blending, wet blending, two-brush wet blending, feathering, airbrushing. Maybe get a new airbrush, or, you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole bunch of different things. So, yeah. Disco Duke, hey monkeys, how's everyone? I missed much? No, you haven't missed anything. Managed to catch a live show? Yes, welcome. Cocking 5555. Way of the Brush, episode 217. Now open painting Forge World. Now open painting Forge World. You're open to painting Forge World? Or I'm open. I'm always open to painting Forge World. I like Forge World stuff. Congo, Digging Knobs, new faction. Disco Duke, managed to catch a live show at least. Welcome. Matthew, no, I'm not a Vault member anymore. You should bring back just the tips. Just a tip. And maybe do some rattle can techniques brought from the classical prop making. Rattle cans? I don't mess with rattle cans no more. Since this cat got a airbrush, I've been airbrushing. I don't do rattle cans. Even though I still have a bunch of rattle cans around, but yeah, I don't do the rattle can thing no more. Don't touch that. But just a tip, yeah. Well, and you know what? For just a tip, I've in Discord, future video ideas, I think is what I got the channel name. What did I name the channel? It's like it's the fourth channel in future video ideas. That's where I figured, you know what? Anybody who is having any kind of issues, stuff like that, they could post their questions there, and I could make a video from it, and help somehow in that regard, right? So, yeah. But nobody seems to take advantage of that channel. I don't know why. I don't know why. Seems pretty straightforward to me. Raziel, that's only the third or fourth time that's happened. Humanity keeps coming back in 40k. The Eldar story is similar to the elves of Middle-earth. They are transitioning to another place. Yeah, well, they're transitioning into extinction, really, is what they're transitioning to from Middle-earth. But not Lord of the Rings. They're transitioning to elsewhere, right? They're going elsewhere. 40k, they're just going extinct. because you got to imagine too, in the galaxy of this universe during the Crusade. I mean, it sounds like the Crusade wiped out alien species. So there could have been all sorts of alien species that were around and just got wiped out by the Crusade, which is kind of awful. And then of course, also the humans who've evolved and changed. The Imperium's like, well, this is how it's done. Convert. No? Bang, 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 bang. Will you convert now? No? Okay, wipe them out. You know what I mean? Like, that's the Crusade. And, that's pretty harsh. That's pretty harsh. And, can a system actually, really exist after all that? Probably not. Sorry, there's stuff all over the place here. My office is a mess, as usual. But anyway, yeah. So you know what I mean. So like, there's all sorts of stuff going on. So I mean, it's really up to the writers, and really it's up to the game designers and the marketing and what they can sell. Because if they can sell brand new, different types of Eldar, and they can make it work, and they make it look cool, and they make it look fun, and the rules are fun, and you know what I mean, then they'll do it. Otherwise, they won't. That's really that's the bottom line. Is can they sell it? Do they think it'll sell well? They'll produce it. Otherwise, they won't. Getting hiccups. Raziel, you rattle canned your Gilliman. I did. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean I'm a rattle canning fool. Doesn't mean I rattle can every chance I get. Doesn't mean I'm out there every night, spraying stuff. I mean, or maybe I am. I don't know. Matthew, but where's the Swedish chef tips? Where are the Swedish chef tips? That's what I want to know. Cocking is because last week Forge World opened their doors to not having GBP conversion for currency. Huh? You're not having Britain pound conversion for currency. I don't know. That's beyond. I don't know what that means. You have to explain that a little bit better, Cocking. I don't know what that means. Aaron Seach, hello Kris and fellow monkeys. Consider this my fashionably late entrance. Vasily, we don't use that channel because we're shy monkeys. Yeah, but I mean, like, it seems like every other conversation spills into every other channel, and I just, you know what I mean, like, you'll talk army lists in the painting area, and you'll talk, real life things in the work in progress area, and I mean, like, it's like, that's the reason why there's channels, right? That's oftentimes why forums have moderators, because, they don't want forums getting all mixed up with jib jab and blizz blam, and you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so, anyway. Steve McDemon, there it is. I like that name, Steve McDemon. Woohoo, made it to a live show. Been a while, Kris. What happened to your lion's mane? Man, it's been a while, I guess, because I cut all this back in May. So, yeah. Where you been? Matthew Adami, Kris is the guy from Mad Max with the silver paint. I just spray it in my mouth. Witness me. Anyway, Dark Commission, episode 217. Rattle cans are for metal babies. Sure. Nathaniel, man, I'm so behind on all that stuff, the lore, the rules, etc. Stopped playing due to a lack of players in my area at 4th edition. Concentrated on my minis until work took up time. Shelved them. Yeah, I've been down that road. Ebb and Flow, episode 217. Look that way while I rattle my can. Ebb and Flow, do you play a lot of pun games? Like, do you find puns just delicious? Jim White, GBP is Great British Pounds. Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know what he meant by, like, Forge World wasn't taking it. I didn't know what that meant. Because I didn't hear nothing about Forge World not taking British money. I was thinking Aren't they in Britain? Raziel, sorry, commenting a lot because I'm on lunch. Was just mentioning Gilliman because I thought you already had an airbrush then, and thought maybe it was a good choice of time. Well, I wanted to show, yeah, something different. Because, I mean, like, yes, I could have just simply airbrushed the gold. But I wanted to show, you know, for people out there who don't have an airbrush, right? Using the gold and just laying it on the model, right? So, yeah, that's why I went that route with the rattle can. So I like to mix it up every once in a while, right? To keep my mojo going. Nazzle. Looking for a new airbrush, thinking about an Awada Eclipse or Badger 105. Is there any major difference on them or just a flavor of choice? If anybody has an experience with them. Now, Awadas, I mean, feel fine. They do have a different cone arrangement on the nozzle, which some would argue is better for airflow. I haven't really noticed. The boys typically use Awada. I know Steve uses Awada all the time. And, you know, I mean, his airbrushing is fine. I mean, it's not any different. And, I mean, he goes back and forth between an Awada and a Patriot. And so, I mean, I haven't seen anything different. I've only ever really used a Patriot 105. I like it. It works great. As long as you keep it clean. It'll last ages. And it'll last many paint jobs. And many different chemicals. And, you know what I mean? Like, I've run acrylic through it. I've run lacquer. Nail polish, which is lacquer. You know, I've run all sorts of stuff through it. Just don't run. What was the big one? Oh yeah, don't run turpentine through your airbrush, because that's bad. When it was just me and Ash in the office one day, I was airbrushing and I was cleaning up my airbrush and I was out of cleaner and I was like, I'll use my turpentine. And I put turpentine through the airbrush, sprayed it, and I think we all got buzzed out on that. And so, yeah. Yeah, that wasn't fun. We killed a few brain cells that day. But yeah, Nazzle, I mean, I would recommend a Badger. If you're in North America, I'd recommend a Badger. I mean, not that it's any harder to get Badger in the UK or anything like that, but, you know. But yeah, I'd recommend a Badger. I like Badger. And I haven't had any issues with the brush. And like I said, with the Badger, with the Patriot 105, you can also get the Patriot 105 Extreme, which has a longer trigger on it, which is very comfortable. If you've got big mitts, yeah, it's very comfortable. Matthew, Forge World, we now only take firstborn children as payment. Yeah, see, exactly, right? Ben Ellis says, yeah, Forge World are based around Nottingham in England. Yeah, exactly. But why were they only... No, I didn't understand the statement before. That's what... Not the British pound thing. It was the statement that they weren't taking the currency. I didn't understand that. Dark Commission episode 217, GBP is Great British Puns. Aaron Seed 217, Napalm and Rattle Cans. Sounds like an album. sounds like a metal album. Matthew 217, you should be watching House. What? Enforcer, what did I miss? I don't know. What did I miss? Reziel, I'm using 2 different Badgers. Really good for the price. Heard Awada is another strong choice. Harder and Steinbeck. I heard were good but pricey and not better quality. Yeah, and also there's the other one too. What is it, Grex? They have like the green triggers and everything like that. They're like they look pretty comfortable. They're also another brand out there. You know, it's what do you feel like spending? You know, I mean, if you're asking my professional opinion, get a Patriot 105. Get an Extreme Patriot 105. Yeah. And I think the needle too. I think it can take a different needle as well. I think it takes a sharper needle. So it's got multifunction, I believe. If you go for a Patriot Extreme Patriot 105, I could be wrong about that though. Don't quote me on that. I know it's got an additional air valve up by the nozzle, which is really cool for fine tuning air pressure. It's got the longer trigger, but I've already got that on my older Patriot. And there was another feature. Bigger cup. Maybe it was the needle thing. Maybe. I don't know. Either way. I would go with Patriot 105. That's how I would go. That's how I... Awada, I haven't... I mean, there's nothing there that shows me that Awada's different. Now, if you go Awada and a Patriot, or like you go with Awada and Badger, you're going to have to get different fittings, because you're going to have to pay attention to your fittings for your compressor. So that could be a pain in the ass. So if you don't bother mixing airbrushes, if you go with Badger, stick with Badger products. If you go with Awada, stick with Awada products. That way you don't have to get new fittings for hoses and your compressor and stuff, because that's a pain. Rezio, Patriot 105 is my workhorse. Yeah, it's mine too. Nathaniel, I own an H&S Infinity. Very good airbrush, easy to maintain too. Not weird tools needed to take off the nozzle. Everything is done by hand. They're pricey, but because they're imported to the US. Sure. And I mean, like, the Badger, it all comes apart by hand too. I mean, like, the end of the two-part nozzle, I mean, like, yeah, you could use a tool for that, especially if you torqued it on really hard. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, as long as you take care of your brush, it works fine. I hardly ever have to take my Badger, my Patriot apart. Sometimes I've taken apart my chrome though, just because for whatever reason, if I don't really flush it really well, paint gets up in where the needle and close inside the body, and for whatever reason, paint gets in there, and then when it dries, it makes the needle really stiff, and so, you know, yeah. My Patriot though, it's fine. I mean, flush it really good, and it's good. I think by this point, airbrushes are pretty much all airbrushes. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, Da Vinci brushes, Raphael brushes, Winsor Newtons. You know what I mean? I think we're getting to that kind of point here with airbrushes at that point, which is a superior brush, right? It's debatable. It's, you know, it's like your opinion, man. I mean, like, you know. So I go with whatever price is you like the price and is readily available. Wherever you shop for your hobby tools, you know, if they only have Awada, buy an Awada. If they only have Badger, buy Badger. You know. Ripley D. Hey Kris, late to the show, but it's Ripley from Discord signing in. Well, welcome Ripley. Welcome. And hi. Nasal? We'll say nasal. Nasal just sounds nasally. Okay, thanks for the info and tips. Yeah, we're kind of thinking about a 105, but yeah, I probably will go with that. Yeah, I would go with that. If you're going to go with a Badger brush, and you've never used Badgers before, I would go with the Patriot Extreme. Just because it's got Extreme in it. No, because I like that additional valve up by the nozzle. It's got another air control valve. I like that. I haven't picked up one myself, but yeah. Raziel, you can change the needle if you invest in different nozzle cone options as well. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, like all the airbrush bodies are all pretty much the same. It's a tube with an air valve. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Hipsters compare their vapes. Businessmen compare their cars. Real men compare their airbrushes. Yeah, I suppose. Although I have been thinking about picking up another one, but more precise. I mean, I like the chrome, but I definitely would like to check out the Sotar. Just because, you know, people keep telling me how awesome that one is, and you know, I might as well put it to the test. Put it to the test, as it were. Disco Duke. I just bought generic airbrush and compressor from Amazon based on the Amazon reviews and I'm really pleased with it so far. Sure, yeah, exactly. I mean, if all you need to do is do some broad base coating and stuff like that, yeah. I mean, like when I had an older hobby brush, it was a Badger 350, I think. It's a hobby brush. It just had a solid brass nozzle. It was a siphon feed, and all it did was you put your paint in there and just, and that was it. It was a one action. It was just start the airflow, and it just sprayed paint, and that was it. You know, there was no control, nothing, right? So yeah. Raziel, email? Yeah. We'll get to an email. Congo Extreme, Q80s ad music. John J. Patriot Extreme also comes with high roller triggers, super nice. Yeah, well, I picked up high roller triggers for my Patriot 105 regular one, and for my Renegade Chrome. And my Renegade Chrome is great with the high roller because again you have that larger fulcrum of movement. Oh yeah, so much better. Old Man Logan, I have both the 105 and the Sotar. I highly recommend a 105 for a beginner. I think that the Sotar is more difficult to maintain and may be discouraging for first-time viewers. Or viewers. Erisich, the Sotar is frickin' fan-frickin-tastic. Fan-frickin-tastic? It's not fan-frickin-tastic, it's fan-frickin-tastic? Fan-frickin-tastic or frickin' fantastic? Frickin' fantastic or fan-frickin... Wow. Almost went down the rabbit hole there, didn't we? John J. and Kris, contact Badger directly. I'll bet they give you one hell of a deal. Yeah, I see Ken at Adepticons. Ken's a great guy. He's the owner of the company, Badger. Awesome guy, super generous, you know, and you know, good to talk to, and yeah. I mean, that's why I'll keep supporting Badger, because I mean, you know, the owner is such a cool dude. So yeah, if you go to if you go to most of the conventions, especially around the Chicago area, you'll probably meet Ken, and he'll happily talk to you about whatever, and he's selling, because I mean, you know, Badger, they sell Stynylrez primers. He's got all the airbrushing stuff. And I want to say there's something else that they've been producing. Oh, the Minotaur paint. That's it, the Minotaur paint. So Minotaur, Stynylrez, and all the airbrushes from Badger. That's all Badger. That's all them. So, yeah. They're all good products. Stynylrez, I've been playing around a bit more with Stynylrez primers, and I'm probably going to end up picking a bit more of that up. Especially their black. I really want to try their black. Compare it to Vallejo's black primer. Because the black primer for Vallejo can be kind of finicky at times. You know? Even the gray sometimes. I'm finding my gray. You know what? I think it has to do with the age. Or shaking it up. And I have agitators in my bottles, but man, it seems like they chunk up really good. Anyway. And of course, Minotaur paint. Yeah, I mean, Minotaur paint. Anybody, you know, airbrushing and wants colors that are pretty close to GW kind of colors. Yeah, Minotaur's the way to go. I think if you're on Twitch, actually you'll see links. If you go to my Twitch stream, if you go over to the Twitch stream, you'll see my recommended for Amazon. You'll see I'll have a whole bunch of links for Badger and stuff like that. Dark Commission, teetering on the edge of the rabbit hole. Just teetering. Teetering. You know what, Dark Mission? I like that. Teetering on the edge of the rabbit hole. Something about that sounds familiar. Why does that sound familiar? Teetering on the edge of the rabbit hole. Is that from a movie? Is it from a movie? I can't tell. Because I almost want to say it is. I almost do. Almost want it. Almost. Kinda, sorta. Possibly. Okay, where are we here? Ebb and Flow, Kris, fan fiction is now needed for the adventures of Blade Rogers and his nemesis, Renegade Chrome. Yeah. I like that. Renegade Chrome has a bad guy name for him. Blade Rogers. Yeah. Old Man Logan, screaming deals on Badger brushes at Adepticon. Yes, always. Yeah, when Ken's at these Badger or at these cons, yeah, you get a deal. You get a deal on stuff. Don't worry, he'll always cut you a deal. You go meet him, yeah, talk with him and stuff like that. And, yeah, you don't chat his ear off, of course, but like inquire about business and how's things going and blah blah. Yeah, he'll cut you a deal. You think, maybe he'll pick up a brush and some paints. And you're like, but the paints and the brush, might take me over a bit my budget. And you go, well, we'll take $20 off the paints. And you go, done. Right? $20, $20. $20 is $20. Is $20, right? So, there you go. Jim White, Alice in Wonderland reference noted. Yeah. Well, I realized that, the rabbit hole thing, right? But, yeah. Aaron Seach, when I bought my Sotar from Badger and the Adepticon, Ken just threw in a high roller trigger in the box with the airbrush and said, you may need this. Really cool guy. Yeah, like I said, man. Like anybody who's like Aaron, Old Man Logan, I mean, we've all talked to Ken. I mean, he's a cool dude. So, I mean, that's why I'll continue to support Badger. Cool dude. And like I said, a generous fella. Enforcer. Teetering on the edge of the rabbit hole is from Way of the Brush 217. You're trying to confuse me now. Clayton Tate. Whoa, there we go. Clayton Tate. Whoa, new layout. I'm puppy sitting and now I need a dog of my own. Welcome, Clayton. Been a while. So, I think we're fully caught up to the comments in the chat right now, because that's Nasal's comment right there. What do you guys think of the chat below? Do you guys like this little chat thing right here? I think I was supposed to adjust the opacity, but I think it only adjusted the opacity for the big thing. I wanted like the opacity for like the initial comment, and then like the other ones fade out. I'm not my CSS is not the strongest. It's quite weak. I'm barely a Padawan in it, so, and it's been a long time since I dabbled in playing with code. So, yeah. But anyway, what are we doing? What is it? What time is it? What time is it? What time is it? It's 1:02. Holy crap! It's 1:02. So we're already an hour into the show, and we gotta do some emails. Headphones. Email time. It's email time. And wow, this is my picture. Awesome, fantastic. Really what I wanted to show. This one is a long one. This is from Marcus. What's his handle? I don't know. Just Marcus. Anyway, get ready, kids. Sit back, relax, because we're in for the long haul on this one. So this is Marcus. His title is Pro Tips for an Airbrush Beginner. Hi, Kris. I currently started to dabble with airbrushing. I bought a set, and I think I've got myself a pretty decent one. It contains a harder and stand-back Infinity CR Plus 2-in-1. Because of my nickel allergy, with a 0.2 and 0.4 millimeter nozzle needle set, a compressor, cleaning kits, yada yada yada. Back in my starting days when I was a nerdy high school kid, airbrush systems were simply far too expensive. That's why I never got one. Back in the 80s and 90s, they were around 600 DM Deutschmark, roughly 900 back then. Wow. For the airbrush pistol only, nothing else. My set was around $400 for everything. Still a bit pricey, but I am excited to start using it. Reason I started with more expensive airbrush, I researched and tried out a couple of models, an Awada, HS, Badger, Pache, couple of no names, etc. and found this one just felt right, you know. Also, it's recognized as a pretty decent airbrush and not considered junk in the airbrushing community. So that's the psychological effect to it. Having a decent tool makes me blame myself more for my lack of skills rather than having crappy equipment. I know it's a good brush, so it's me who sucks, so I need to suck less. My internal voice. I'm sure you catch my drift. Currently lack protection gear and an exhaust system, but that's being taken care of. No worries. I obtained some Vallejo Game Air and Model Air paints, as well as some light gray surface primer to try out and break in my airbrush. I also bought a polystyrene sheet, dimensions 250 and by 500 by 1 millimeter for around $2 for testing purposes. To avoid messing up my minis I own, they were expensive enough, and the sheets act as a proxy. I know it's a flat surface, but I've to start somewhere. I was thinking of cutting the sheet down to smaller pieces and have 50% of one piece primed and leave the other half unprimed to see how the paint works. One sheet gray, primer, blank sheet surface. This way I can figure out the quirks and such of my airbrush, as well as familiarize myself with it proper way. I was also thinking to get 1 or 2 coloring books for children to start out getting with the feel and try out some techniques. I was instructed to start off with the 0.4 millimeter nozzle and try out how the airbrush behaves, getting a feel for the right settings, air pressure, and amount of paint, the right mixture of the paint itself, too much thinner, not enough, etc. Basically try out and make mistakes. Okay, enough idle chit chat and me rambling on. I reckon you get a lot of questions, how to start and whatnot. Considering me being new to airbrushing, what techniques are you considering easy to learn? In your opinion, when do you think I should paint an actual model? What are the do's and don'ts of airbrushing other than dropping the airbrush, abusing it to stir coffee, etc.? And what are the most common tripping hazards in airbrushing? Sorry for the lengthy email. Thanks in advance. Also, sorry if my English sounds weird, but it's not my native language. Grease, Marcus, P.S. I'm more of a hoodie guy. Are you going to expand the official apparel to hoodies somewhere in the near future? And that's it for that. And I don't know what the hell this is. Whoa. I don't know what that is. I don't think we have to concern ourselves with that. So, his question. We get to the last paragraph of this tome. Any techniques easy to learn? No. I mean, they're all easy to learn. You just got to practice. Layering paint onto a miniature. You can simply dink your brush into the pot of paint and slap it onto the model, and it's as easy as that, right? But then there's a lot more finesse to taking the paint and applying to the miniature carefully, right? And the same thing with airbrushing. You can simply just load it with paint and just spray it at the model and, get the paint on the model, right? And for some, that might be the best way to actually kind of start. Some might need a little more theorizing and such. And with airbrushing, like there's 2 key factors to bear in mind, okay? How thin or thick your paint is, and how much air pressure is going through the brush. Okay, those are the 2 things to concern yourself with, primarily. If your paint is really thin, and you're working with a high air pressure far away, it's going to go on really dusty. It's just going to be dust flying at the model. If your paint is really thin, you turn your air pressure down and work closer to the model. If your paint is somewhat heavy, no, I mean not talking like GW heavy, but more just it's a bit thicker, you turn the air pressure up and you go just a little safe ways away. You really, Most times when you're airbrushing miniatures, you're only working maybe max 10 to 12 inches away, maybe no more than 30 centimeters away from your work surface. Any further than that, you're just throwing dust onto the model, right? Air pressure, max, 30. 30 is good for flushing, like when you're flushing and rinsing your brush out, you're cleaning, right? You're around 30 psi. I like to go a nice hard psi when I'm cleaning the brush. That way, I make sure I just blast all the gunk out of it, right? If you're working with a bit of a thicker paint, you might want to turn the psi up. Oh, lacquers. Some lacquers are thick. Tamiya colors are thick. Humbrol colors are thick. So if you're working with lacquer-based paints and you're not using that much thinner, then yeah, you want a little bit higher psi. If you're priming, you'll want to work with a higher psi. When you're doing details and you're getting in close to the model, you're trying to be very precise and you're using a precise nozzle, turn your psi down and thin your paints a little bit more. Not too much, but with experience, you'll see what thin and thick paints are. When you're doing certain jobs, you'll know what kind of mixtures you'll want to use, and you'll be used to it. And I mean, I can sit here and give you recipes for how thick certain paint should be, with how much thinner, at what psi, at what distance, but that's not going to help you. It'll get you started, but it's not going to help you. It's not going to make you more knowledgeable and more confident in your tool. In fact, it's just like the regular paintbrush. Play with it, experiment, try different things. As far as getting into, what was the next part of your question? Oh, when do I think you should start painting an actual model? Right away. Do it right away. I mean, do a couple tests. If you want to do a couple tests and see how fast and how much airflow is coming out of the brush, because primers are going to act differently from the regular colors. So primers, you want to get used to priming, and the key factor is you don't want to over prime, and that's with spray cans or airbrush. You never want to over prime, and so if you're not used to priming at all, then yeah, you're gonna need to do more research. I do have many videos on this. In Mini Wargaming's Vault, we have an excellent video series on airbrushing for beginners, done by Austin from Death Ray Designs. He did a fantastic DVD, and I highly recommend it to anybody who's getting into airbrushing, who's like new to airbrushing. I highly recommend it to anybody in there. It's in Mini Wargaming Vault. Fantastic DVD. It's a must watch. But yeah, as far as do's and don'ts of airbrushing, no, like nothing other than just being mindful of settings, of how thin and thick your paint is and how much air pressure, because that determines how far your airbrush is going to work from that surface, right? Because if it's a high air pressure, you'll want to be a little bit further back. If it's a low air pressure, you want to be closer. If it's thinned out paint, you want to be a little bit closer. If it's a little bit thicker paint, you want to be just a little bit further, right? But that doesn't mean that that's a hard and fast rule, because you can thin a color way down, really thin, and want to do a bit of a zenithal type of highlighting. Well, that's just simply orientating the model a different way, spraying top down with a very thinned out color, and just so you get a very subtle, gentle fade on the color. And that was working with a thinned out color. So again, I mean, like, there's no hard and fast rules. You just got to experiment and play with it more. And as you get more and more experience, you'll get more and more confident with it. It's just like a regular paintbrush, and it all requires practice, and more practice. So practice. That's the biggest thing. The biggest don't is don't practice. That's bad. Practice. Yeah, and take care of your brush, because it will take care of you. Where are we in the comments? Anything? Jim White, straining airbrush paint prevents many clogs. See, I've never had to do that. But again, most of the time, my paint is not clogging. I'm not having clog issues. Knock on wood. It's been a while since I've dealt with a clog, so. The only time I've ever found clogs is when I've put too much paint in the cup, and that rim around the edge of where the paint is oldest, and then that starts to fall into the cup. If it does. That causes a clog. But otherwise, yeah. I've never had to strain the paint. I'm trying to think of when would that be necessary? If you're mixing, maybe? If you're over thinning? Yeah. Steve McDemon, don't let the paint dry in the airbrush unless you're a masochist. That's another good advice right there. Yeah, don't let the paint dry in your airbrush. Clean your airbrush. Clean your airbrush. Take care of your airbrush. Ebb and flow. When airbrushing, strive for Optimus Prime. Ebb, do you just sit at home, just sit there and get cooked all day and just like let the weirdest shit possibly come to mind? I mean, like. Oh man. Jim White, number 3, use airbrush cleaner between colors. Yes. Jim White says number 2 is use airbrush flow improver. I've never had to use air flow improver, but I do keep my needle lubed. So that that's another one too. Is keeping your needle lubed, and because that just helps keep the paint from collecting on the nozzle or the needle. Vallejo Blacks. Yeah, they're pain. Ember's Champion. I know folk who have bought loads of models and never touch them because they aren't ready and want them perfect. You need to sacrifice a few models or bits at least to get better. You have to. You have to. Waiting until you can do a perfect paint job? How can you like that's like me wanting to enter NASCAR but never learning how to drive. That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense at all. Without practicing. Right? You have to practice. Yes, some are going to look mediocre and crappy. But that's the journey. Nobody comes out of this with perfect looking miniatures the first time round. Nobody, unless there's some sort of savant. But I have yet to see evidence of that. So, yeah. Yeah, practice. It's practice. Just practice, man. Practice. That's all it takes, man. Just sit there and just play. You just gotta play. Ebb and flow. Sober as a judge, I assure you. All right. Dark Commission. I cashed in a fistful of winning scratch cards and got a Badger 100G Badger compressor, hose, loads of thinners, cleaners, and primers for 13 cash. That's an unbelievable deal. How the hell did you manage that? That's an unbelievable. Or because that was the balance from your scratch cards, maybe. Disco Duke getting on a comment of Steve McDemon. If you need to put 2 coats on, what you do with your airbrush in between coats, it seems strange to clean it out and then put in paint back in. No, you change colors. When you change colors, if I'm going from black to white, black to red, red to blue, you flush the paint. Ghost Star right now. Kris, remember what happened last time you mentioned lube with needles? No, I don't actually. Grim, models for the paint god? Yes, you have to sacrifice models to the paint god. That's exactly it. You have to sacrifice models to the paint god. That's the only way you're going to get better. Only way. Iron Siege painting skills get better with practice. If you want to get better, you have to practice. Go to a bits dealer and buy some models on the cheap and practice. That's an excellent idea. Buy some practice models. Go to go to local hobby stores, see if anybody's selling any armies for cheap, or letting loose a squad. Doesn't matter what it is. It's a practice model. You're just practicing out techniques, priming, what have you, right? So, excellent idea, Aaron. Excellent idea. Disco Duke. Someone always has to bring up lube. Well, you gotta have lube. You gotta have lube. Because, I mean, an airbrush has moving parts. Those have to stay well lubricated. And the needle, keeping your needle lubed, does save you a lot of heartache while you're airbrushing. Especially when, like, I always find this when I'm working with a thinner color and a higher PSI. And I get dry tip. I get a really, really bad dry tip. Well, keeping your needle lubed ensures that when that dry tip builds up, that it's easy just to kind of clean that whole cone right off and just pull, and you just pull that whole thing off and just keep on going, or it doesn't build up at all because it's just all falling off, right? But yeah, keeping your needle lubed, very, very important. Also keeps the action smooth as well. Jim White, practice painting your sprues. The sprues, the empty sprues, right? Paint the sprues. There you go. That's another excellent idea. Paint the sprues. Why not, right? Sorry, I had to take a swig of coffee or my mouth is getting dry. All my gum flapping. All right. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Oh, jeez, man. See? Bad. I think I'm going to have to make a graphic. After we did the email with the jingle, I forgot to thank Guymere Alfer, a.k.a. Carl, a.k.a. Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out. He's on his new season of Blood Bowl. He just started a new season of Blood Bowl. So check him out. If you love yourself some Blood Bowl and you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some listening to some fellas trash talk each other and stuff, it's good stuff. It's fun. But yeah, check him out. I know. I should just, when I put the graphic up, it should just be thanks to Guymere Alfer, a.k.a. Carl, a.k.a. Beer Blood Bowl. Oh man, I always feel so bad too because I just realized I just did that. Anyway, let's do another email. This one is from our good buddy Dark Commission. Hi, Mighty One. Just to let you know, I've left a lengthy comment under episode 216 with some explanations and questions. Cheers, John, a.k.a. Dark Commission. John, are you seriously going to make me go look back at the damn comments? Okay, hold on. Internet might spike while I'm doing crazy crap here. Oh man, I don't know why YouTube, to get into your video manager, it's like 5 freaking clicks. Why can't it be just one click? Click on my symbol, pull me to my video manager, and let's go. Right? Alright. So let's have a look here. This is episode 216. I don't see nothing, dude. I'm looking at the comments for 216. I got that, right? The comment, yeah, right. The GIM. I don't see anything in the comments. Dark Mission. Maybe it was held for review. No. Maybe likely spam. No. I don't have any comments. Dark Commission. What'd you do? What'd you do? Seriously though, what'd you do? Oh man, old man Logan. Keeping your needle lubed saves you a lot of heartache. Never have truer words being spoken. It does. A lube, yeah, you're keeping your needle lubed, yeah. You sure it was episode 216? Maybe it was 215. You left a comment. I don't know. It's 215? No. That ain't you. Oh, Dark Commission. Dark Commission, you sure you clicked send? I don't know. So I'm watching my thing here in the chat here, and I don't know where the hell I am at. Where's Twitch at? Twitch? No, Twitch is okay. Anyway. We'll go back here. Maybe you send another email. No, I don't see another one. Well, Boo earns. Boo earns. Boo earns. Oh, Dark Mission replied. Here we go. So it says posted 3 days ago, but posted earlier than that, but nothing urgent. Yeah, but I don't see the comment in the video though. I said you left it in the video. I looked at the comments. I don't see anything. I'm sorry, Dark Vision. I don't know what happened. Aqua, how is the monkeys? Pretty good, Aqua. Yeah, I see you're late. It's okay. It's not class. It's not like this is a classroom, you know, where it's, you know, where you been, Aqua? Come on, buddy. Congo, I'm trying to think of colors needed to paint the soft blue skin of Forsaken in World of Warcraft. Got an elf mini, and I want to paint it like Sylvanas. I would start off with something like Caliph blue, and then build up from there. Caliph blue, Baharoth blue, and then or even blue horror, like the edge color blue horror, and then add a little white to that, just as the final highlights. If it looks a little too blue-gray for you, you can always take a little bit of Guilliman thinned out, Guilliman blue glaze, and just apply that to the model, just broadly over the surface, just bring a bit of a saturation back. Yeah. Yeah. It says it's top comment. It's top comment. What the fritz? Episode 216, right? Okay, I'm just going to click the video itself. Because maybe, I don't know, maybe the community setting's not showing me the proper thing here. I'll look at the video here. The video. Let's go. Okay. Eb, you're not going to believe this, Eb, but... Oh, I can't see it, but... I don't see any comment. Sort by top comment. Yeah, the top comment is Dave Battaglia. And I know you're not Dave Battaglia. Well, I actually don't know you're not Dave Battaglia, but I'm pretty sure you're not Dave Battaglia. But yeah. On episode 216, you left that email? Is that what your email said? You left it on episode 216, right? Yeah, episode 216. That's totally weird, dude. That I'm not seeing your comment. It's some Twilight Zone shit for sure. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know where it could be. I don't know, dude. Talk about just YouTube things? Just YouTube things, man. Yeah. Talbot says, try sorting newest first. I found the comment that way. What? Okay. Newest first, then. Dark Commission. There it is. What the hell? Okay. Okay, well, shit. Let me see if I can find it by going back in time. Let's go back to the community. Okay. Oh, I guess I could have went here. Oops. there is a tab that allows me to see all video comments, like across all the videos. Anywho, holy oh moly, left a big ass comment here, buddy. I don't know, buddy. Anyway, this is from Dark Commission. Hi, Kris. Very many thanks for your great critique of the Captain Ahab bust. Here are a few explanations and thoughts. I decided that the coat would be heavy wool. I based it on abysmal blue, that's scale 75 color. I lightened the color with off-white Vallejo and stippled the high points with 2/3 of the way into the shadows. After that had dried, I stippled again with a lighter mix staying nearer to the top of the shadows. The final top highlight was applied to the highest points. After drying, I applied an all-over glaze of the base color mixed with Lamian Medium and Lucatex Floaid. The woolen cardigan was stippled in the same way as the coat, but without the finishing glaze. The leather was based in brown leather, scale 75, and aged with orange leather, scale 75, with a touch of gray added to the most worn areas. Nice. The scarf I textured like a long weave, if that makes sense. I am really happy with the muted color achieved, as the red can be difficult when most paint lines only offer a small number of different reds. And I think it looks washed out by years of salt sea. I wanted the wood of the gun to resemble the tight-grained wood like mahogany. It is based in Mournfang brown, and the grain is all added by painting very thin, irregular lines of the base color mixed with red leather, scale 75, and various shades made by off-white Vallejo. I knew what metal colors I was going to use, as I knew the Viking Gold scale 75 and Black Metal scale 75 would blend in with the overall muted palette. I tried a number of times to create effects with the metals, but I got to a stage where nothing was working right, and I had to keep wiping off the paint with a damp paper towel to avoid blobs and brushstrokes. I find that the hard edge highlighting a la 28mm doesn't work so well at larger scales. No, not really. It seems very obvious to the eye. This leads me to question, is non-metallic metal prerequisite for competition painting? The few YouTubers I follow who enter competitions all the time use it all the time. Seem to use it all the time. I can see the point in 2D art, like painting of Charles I in armor, or for metals in comic book art. Is non-metallic metal a fad in 3D painting? I'm not sure, but I would like the idea of non-metallic metal using true metals, but I think that would probably suit my style more. I'll try that in the next project that requires metals. As for the photography, don't mention photography. I only have a bridge camera. What's a bridge camera? So no, not DSLR, unfortunately. The max depth is 8.6 when unzoomed. I can get it to f17.8 by using the zoom, but then I have to move the camera further back, so it might be nullifying the effect. No, actually, that's probably better, actually. I can manually set the focus, or manually set how much light comes in, and keep the middle of the bar to the left so it's not too dark and not too bright. Any further advice on this would be most welcome. I say thanks again, Kris, for your critique, and I look forward to hearing your any more advice you may have for me. Cheers, John. John Showless. Is your name John Showless? Anyway. Holy moly. Okay. So, we found it. Awesome. We found his comment. Great. Okay. We all remember from last episode, with the pre-recorded episode, I was talking about his Captain Ahab bust. Really fantastic work. If you've not watched that episode, go back and watch that episode, because the model is really fantastic. If you liked his Aztec model from a few episodes further back, and if you're not familiar with that one, then you have to go even further back for that, because Dark Commission's been doing some really fantastic painting. And, you know, I really look forward to the next pieces he sends. And Captain Ahab was another great one. And the texture in the coat and the leather and everything was spot on. Really awesome. The face, the skin and the tones in the face, again, top notch. The hair, we already talked about the hair. But as far as his question, the big part of his question was what? The non-metallic metal thing, right? Is non-metallic metal a fad? Well, that's debatable. Is non-metallic metal a fad? Because for the longest time, you didn't see it in miniature painting. You didn't see non-metallic metal. You know what? Here. Oh, crap. Can I pull it up? For the longest time, there was not a lot of things like that. And I'm sure what it was when more illustrator artists got into the hobby and started bringing more illustration type techniques into the artwork, that we started to see more of this. And a great example for seeing how the evolution of painting has kind of gone, and this is, as far as I can tell, this is about the only archive I can find, if I can find it in my frickin' bookmarks. Holy crap, where the hell is it? It is the previous Golden Demon winners. Okay, and it goes back to, I think it goes back to 80. And it shows all the previous winners. And you can see the evolution of the painting, of miniature painting. It's actually an excellent way of seeing the evolution of miniature painting. And you see what won before in like the 90s versus, you know, and of course, you know, you can kind of, a lot of times they'll talk about big differences between European style painting and American style painting. There are very big differences in the painting. I think that's because the miniature painting has been more popular in Europe longer than in North America. North America, you know, the whole, you know, nerddom has, you know, the stigma has been around longer than in Europe. Europe, I would say Europe is more tolerant of such things, whereas North America, it seems it was less tolerant, you know. Okay, this is gonna piss me off. I'm trying to find the damn link so I can copy and paste it for you guys, or even just show you guys. But anyway, it's oh, here it is, for frick's sakes. Oh wait, no, this is not it. This is, oh wait, or was this it? Oh, is it not a site no more? No. No, say it isn't so. That's a shame. If this site has gone down, that is a shame. I thought that was the catalog. That was the old, like that. That's another one that's a shame as well. But I don't know. Let me check the comments here. Has anybody seen? Has anybody done the search on previous Citadel for, Golden Demon winners? Let's see, Golden Demon winners. Okay. Or wait. No, this looks like a Games Workshop kind of Pinterest kind of site. No, this only goes back to 13. That's not enough. That's not enough. No, this site had all the winners from like Canada, US, Poland. It had all the stuff. Here it is. Okay, so the URL. This is the URL. I'm gonna put this in the chat. Yeah, I'll put this in the chat. Hold on here for everybody. So I'll put it there. I'm putting it into Twitch. Right there. Okay. Boom. Yeah. There we go. Okay. That's the site. Man, you can spend hours. If you're serious about your miniature painting, you can spend hours on this site looking at stuff. And yeah, I mean, like the really great painting you're going to see is going to be like out of France and out of Britain. And later America. Early America stuff, you're kind of really? That's what they're painting? You know? Well, actually not. I should say that because, but I mean, like, I'm looking at USA 2000, the Sword Slayer winner. It was by an artist, Victor Hardy. It's a Bloodthirster of Khorne, and I mean, here, that's what I'm looking at here. Oh no, there we go. That's what I'm looking at, right? And I mean, like, do we see that style of Golden Demon winner now? No. This might place, but this isn't winning the Golden Demon anymore, right? Versus, let's go with USA 2013 Memphis. What was the Slayer Sword winner? Look at this crazy ass thing. Versus something like that. Right? You know, we could probably sit here and do an entire show of just going through and looking at all these previous entries and, like, you know, going through and, you know, drawing inspiration and such like that, but we aren't. maybe we'll do it later sometime. Maybe I'll make a show of it at some point. I don't know. But either way, yeah. Why is YouTube on my one thing here? Okay, there we go. So, Jim White, yeah, the 7 years painting did leave something to be desired. Yes, very much so. So yeah, so if you guys want to check some inspiration out, and you can see the evolution of painting, because I mean, if you go to like the UK, and they have like 87 Golden Demon, right? And you look at what won the Golden Demon in 1987, and you're gonna look at it and you're gonna go, wow, that wouldn't win today. Right? How time and aesthetics and style and complexity, you know, change, right? Versus what won this year. What won this year? Or last year? Oh yeah, this Nurgle thing. Yeah, that's really cool. Way more complexity in the colors, the detail, you know, so much more. So, Tavo, +1 for a Demon Winter review episode. Yeah, I mean, like we could probably go through, you know, and look, and I mean, like, because I mean, what would be kind of fun is to look for when exactly non-metallic metal, because this is in part Dark Commission's question, right? Is when did non-metallic metal become a thing, and you know, and is it a fad? Or is it something that's just, you know, part of the landscape now? I think it's part of the landscape now. But when did it come into play? Let's see here. Like, when does it seem like... Yeah, I mean, like here. Like, here's another example. Look at this. This is 1999 America. That was what won the Slayer Sword. A squad. I don't see any instances of non-metallic metal. It just looks like it just won because of smooth, clean blends. But that's what won the Slayer Sword that year in America. Let me see here. 1988, Britain. Look at this. 1988 Britain. That's what won the Slayer Sword in 88. 88? Yeah, 88. Look at that. Do you think that fur was blended, or do you think it was dry brushed? Right? And that's not how I would dry brush that fur. I would dry brush that fur so more of the color transitions appeared. Am I saying that I could have done a better paint job than this? Yes. 1988? Yeah, I could have painted better than this in 1988. But, here's the thing though. In 1988, this was kick-ass. That's why it won the Slayer Sword, because that kicked ass. That paint job was awesome in the time. Because all those details, and he had all the things going on with the rigging. And I'm pretty sure this was a conversion. I don't think this model existed, like, in this way. I think this was a conversion. And yeah, so you know, times change, right? Was that it to his question? Oh, and the photography. No, yeah. If you move back, if you can open up to F17 and stand further back with the zoomed in on your thing, that's better. That's actually better. If you actually watch any professional miniature photographer, they're like, you're usually like 8 to 10 feet away from the subject. They got a long lens and they're zoomed right in because they want that maximum focal length. So yeah, so thank you, Dark Commission, for sending that in. Thank you for the breakdown on how you achieved your effects on the Ahab bust. And of course, if you haven't checked out the Ahab bust, it's in episode 216. Watch that episode so you can see his bust. You see his bust. And yeah, it's really, really good. If you liked his Aztec dude, which was phenomenal, this guy, Ahab, way better. Way better. Comments. What do we got for comment? What time we at here? Holy crap, we got 14 minutes left of the show. I'm just trying to look here. George Hintz, 1990s. Yeah, 1990s. For us old timers. Old Man Logan. Check out Brian Shaw, winner in 2003 Los Angeles. Yeah, I really like the Laughing God. Disco Duke. Dude, I could have won Golden Demon in 1066. Yeah, before there was even a Golden Demon, I could have won at least that first one that never existed. If there ever never existed a Golden Demon, I could have won it. Dark Commissioner. Thanks, Chris. Any more praise and my head won't fit in the rabbit hole. Well, I mean, like, you know where you want to improve. I know where you want to improve, and you know, I mean, I think that keeps us humble, right? That's enough to keep us humble. Where we know where we want to improve. It's when we think that we don't need to improve. We're it. We're the shit, baby. You know what I mean? Like, no, you know, I know tons of areas I want to improve, and you know, I try. You know, I'm always just trying to be more mindful. Really, I think, you know, and unfortunately, this sounds like an excuse, but I really can't think of any other way. But it's time for other things, right? Because I mean, like, if I concentrated more on my painting, I wouldn't do this show, right? I wouldn't bother with this stuff. I would just concentrate on just that. Boom. You know what I mean? Like, if I dropped all other distractions I have and concentrated on just my painting, yeah, I'd virtually disappear. Which is probably why you don't hear a lot, obviously, from a lot of the Slayer Sword winners and the Crystal Brush winners, and you know what I mean? Because they're often busy with their lives and painting, and whatever they're not painting, they're, you know, busy with their life, and you know what I mean? Like, you know. Whereas myself, I get a kick out of this. I enjoy this. I mean, like, this, us interacting back and forth, I get a kick out of it. You know, I don't, you know, I don't feel the need. Like, and I've said this many times before. I don't feel the need to compete. You know what I mean? Like, I just, right? Because what am I gonna do? Like, what's the point? I mean, you know, winning a trophy. Yay, I won a trophy for my painting miniatures, for painting toys. Yay, you know. I don't get that. I don't get worked up about it. Now, mind you, if I was displaying my sculpting ability and my painting ability, and I was entering that into competitions, then yes, I'd be more heavily invested. But because I'm painting somebody else's piece and I'm trying to interpret somebody else's piece, you know, I'm not that invested in it. But if it was something I sculpted and painted and was introducing something new and new concept of something, then yeah, you know, I would be way more invested in it. I think that's when it's truly art, is when, you know, we're truly invested in that. Not simply because of ego. Because a lot of miniature painters, they seem to have very huge egos. And I don't know why. You know? I don't know why. It's just something. I don't know why. It just seems like, you know, I mean, like, you paint little toy miniatures. I mean, it's not a big deal. You know? I mean, there are people out there who are very impressed with your skill, but ultimately, what does it matter? Ultimately, what does it matter? It doesn't, you know? And so, yeah. You know, and again, with the whole competition thing, I don't feel the need, because again, winning the competition is to build up your name, right? Build up your brand. You're gonna do something. You're gonna be something, right? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna build? What are you gonna bring? You know, and I mean, like, you go through that list of Golden Demon winners. Whoa, that scared the shit out of me. All these things fell over. Anyway, you go through that list of Golden Demon winners. Where are they now? Right? Where are they now? Are they on YouTube making millions? Are they working for Games Workshop or some miniature company making millions? Are they, you know, in this field somehow? Are they still in miniatures? And I'll bet you 90% of them are not. They're working regular day-to-day lives and starting families, and you know what I mean? And you know, it was a high point in their day, but otherwise they move on, right? And yeah, again, that's why I don't feel the need to compete. Maybe because I'm old. I don't know. If I was younger, full of piss, I suppose I might be more fired up about it, but I'm not. Next weekend, going to that Sword and Brush in Toronto. Enter the painting competition. Haven't been too worked up about what I'm entering, but I know what I'm entering as long as I get it done this weekend. Because tomorrow, Patreon members, right? We're going to work together tomorrow. So, that's what I'll be entering, is what we've been working on. And I really don't care if it places or not. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. You know, it's not like it's going to affect my livelihood. You know, I mean, I consider myself very, very lucky. You know, because of you guys, of course, that I get to paint miniatures for a living. You know, and that's because of you guys, because of Vault members and you guys. You know, and I feel very, very lucky. And you know, that's probably why too I don't feel the need to compete either, because I feel like probably karma would bite me in the ass and, you know, unravel the whole house of cards kind of thing. But yeah, so, you know, I already consider myself lucky. I've already won. That's how I see it. I get to paint miniatures for my day-to-day job, which a lot of people think that's what I want to do, you know? But do you really want it? I've been doing this for 7 years now, 9 to 5. 5 days a week with deadlines. You know? Is that really what you want? You got to ask yourself some hard questions. You got to dig real deep into that soul and ask yourself, is that truly what you want? Old Man Logan, Great. Now I feel guilty about holding Kris back from a personal painting growth journey. No, not even, man. Because, I mean, it's a journey. Get there when you get there, man. That's all it is. There's no timetable on the journey, right? You know, when the journey ends is when it ends. That's it. Ben Ellis, just thought of a Golden Demon show you mentioned. What about the evolution of the brush? I like that. I like that, Ben. That's an excellent idea. But, you know, like, yeah, I'd have to, you know what, though? I'd have to write that out. I'd have to write a serious kind of, man, you guys are making homework for me. I'd have to write out a serious thesis on this. The evolution of the brush. I'm stealing that, Ben. That's good. I'm stealing that. Maybe I will. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. And you heard it here first. You guys heard it here first. The evolution of the brush. Darker Mention. I bought a How to Paint Citadel Miniatures off eBay. And it was so old, it had black lining throughout. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Nathaniel, most of them gave up the hobby because of life. Exactly. It's life, man. You know? And I consider myself very, very lucky that I get to do my hobby as my job. And I know there's many out there who, you know, that's what they want. It's, geez, what that guy's got, I want that. And they try and get into it. And it's hard. It's hard. You have to stay at it. And unfortunately, this market is not very big. But thankfully, getting noticed by everybody is not that difficult. Because, again, the market's not very big, right? So, you know. George Hintz, some of wind up teaching art and die of a heart attack yelling at a kid for acting up. Yeah, exactly, right? I hope you're not talking about yourself, man. Have you already had a heart attack, George? Because I know you're at that I know you're at that age. I mean, I shouldn't joke. I'm at that age too. But yeah. Do we have time? What time is it? Holy crap! 4 minutes left of the show. 4 minutes left of the show. What are we doing? Sitting here talking about crap. You know what? Let's do one more email because we can. Headphones. Email time. Email time. So this one is from our good buddy T Walker, aka Tim. Some call him Tim. Anyway, hey Kris, I hope you're well. Thanks for your helpful advice last week regarding painting white. I have put an order in for some Uthran Grey and will give it a go. I have heard you mention creating your own washes in a couple of shows using acrylic medium. I have never used this before and would like to acquire some. Which brand would recommend? Also, I would love to have some more freedom regarding the color of washes, etc. Please also find attached a couple of Poxwalker. I have painted a couple of Blood Bowl orcs and a dwarf Dragon Slayer figure. Although I painted his shorts red as I already primed in black and had no Uthran Grey. But we'll definitely put the white technique to use on the next miniature with white clothing. Thanks again, and all the best, Tim. Yes, so for now the acrylic medium I'm talking about is called Liquitex Flow-Aid. Flow-Aid. F-L-O-Aid. And if one of the monkeys would be so helpful, put a link to Liquitex Flow-Aid in the chat for me, and I think that would be awesome. And then, Tim, all you gotta do is when you listen to this, look at the comments and see the link and go to the link. Because I'm pretty sure the chats get saved now, and I'm showing the chat, and, you know, whatever. So, blah, blah, blah. How about, hey, JB, how about ya? So, yeah, Liquitex Floyd, that's what I prefer. There are other brands, but, I mean, for $10 US, although you're probably not US, are you? But anyway, no, you're in the UK. So, but Liquitex is in the UK as well. And just go to your big box hobby store and or any art supply place, and they'll have Liquitex Flow Aid. It's for acrylics, and it's just fantastic. It's 10 American, so it's probably less British pound. It's probably probably 5. Yeah, it only takes 1 or 2 drops. I put it into a glass dropper bottle, and I filled up my glass dropper bottle when I first got the Liquitex Flow Aid, and I have yet to refill it, and that was a couple years ago. So I use it all the time, but you only ever use like a drop or 2 out of it each time. So, you know, you don't really use that much up, and it lasts you for a long time. At least in the volumes we're talking about. If I was doing more acrylic canvas type work, I'd probably go through this stuff more. But because we're miniature painters and we're painting tiny, tiny surfaces, you know, we really don't burn through that much. So anyway, and so let's have a look at his models. Here is his Dwarf Slayer for slaying dwarves. A Dwarf Slayer. Wouldn't a Dwarf Slayer be a slaying dwarves? Isn't that how that goes? Or am I reading too much into that? Anyway, really nice. I think you should be careful of how much primer you are laying down on a miniature. I can see on the axe blade, it looks a little bumpy, whereas I know that this model is a styrene plastic model, and it should be rather smooth. And, of course, that also is a property of the metallic flakes. The metallics, when you lay them on somewhat heavily on by brush, can leave a bit of texture, so do be mindful of that. In the future, like when you're highlighting and stuff like that, try using a thinned out ard coat or a glaze, and bring that metallic shine back. Really nice to work on the flesh tones. Really nice. I like it. Yeah, really nice work on the flesh. Little red shorts. Oh man, look at this guy. Ouch. That looks like that hurts. Holy crap, looks like he's giving birth to something. Oh man, that's disturbing. Tim, I don't know if you are a Vault member or not, but I do have a few videos on using Blood for the Blood God to get more of gorier looking splatters and stuff like that. If you ever want to check that out. Also those tentacles. I also got a video or 2 on doing those tentacles. Oh, look at this. Blood Bolt Orcs. Love that. I like how the red feels so flat, and yet the metal is like nice and lustrous. Looks really good. Yeah, that is some darn good stuff. Oh, that's it? Oh, that's it. Aww. Aww. Well, thank you, Tim, for sending that in. Awesome stuff. I mean, your painting looks really good. I like it. You know? I mean, obviously, you're going for playability. But, I mean, it's still fantastic painting for playability. Like I said, I have a few videos on those tentacles for doing the blood splatters and stuff like that. But I mean, the dwarf flesh I really liked. You know, again, just be mindful of how heavy you're laying paint on, and it all starts with the primer. So if you've over primed a miniature, you end up with that really heavy kind of chalky feeling on the miniature. So do be mindful of that. So yeah, we are out of time. Oh, John, I got Dark Commission. I got your email. I don't think. Yeah, it's just basically what you wrote, eh? So okay, so we don't need to cover that. Okay, so I'll just file that away. I'll file it away. So, yeah, we're done, right? We're pretty much done. Any other comments? No, nothing comments. Oh, Windsor Newton's got a Flow Aid. Windsor Newton's got a Flow Aid. There you go, in the UK shop. Nobody else. Amazon has it. Amazon, yeah, Amazon's got it. Jackson's Art Supplies on web has everything, and that's in the UK, because I'm pretty sure Buddy's in the UK. So, yeah, just want to make sure he's getting the best possible price on stuff. But like I said, I prefer Liquitex Flow Aid. That's just what I've been using for many, many years. If you find another brand and you like the way it works, by all means, use it, right? So, again, a lot of this stuff is all personal preference. You know what I mean? People argue, well, what's the best paint line? What's the best brushes? You know, what's the best airbrush? It's all subjective. It's all personal opinion, right? I've seen works of art done by crappy brushes and with crappy paints and no airbrush. And I've seen good work. It's all in the artist. It's all in you. It's all in your practice and how much work you're going to do with the mediums in which you have on hand. So always bear that in mind. It's not the tools. Tools don't make the artist. Tools don't make the artist. And so with that, I will bid you adieu. If you're brand new to the hobby, the commission painting service, you want to drum up some extra exposure, or you just want some help on your color scheme or a particular technique that's eluding you, send your questions to Kris@miniwargaming.com. I'll be happy to help you there. Of course, you can always join me at wayofthebrush.com, the central hub of all this silliness, as we have links to the Discord, Instagram, the Twitter, and also links for the Patreon, which, of course, I always have to thank my Patreon supporters. Without them, a lot of these upgrades and a lot of these things that have kept this show moving forward, kept this channel moving forward, really wouldn't be possible. So again, big thanks for them. And it really does help, to really kind of help this whole endeavor. And yeah, of course, if you don't have the means to support monetarily, which is of course fine, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and and leaving comments in the videos. If this was helpful, if you found something, or if you have a question, maybe I'll start reading more from the questions. Because it's not too difficult, because I can always pull up the one page, right? And it's always all the comments in the thing. But anyway, Way of the Brush t-shirts. See, if you want to look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this universe, a Way of the Brush t-shirt. So, yeah. And of course, everybody that's bought a t-shirt, you guys have to send me pictures of yourselves in your t-shirts. I don't care where. If you're sitting on a toilet, if you're at the zoo, if you're in outer space. And of course, yes, there is a prize. There is a prize for anybody who gets me a picture of a Way of the Brush shirt on a Space Marine. There is a prize. A substantial prize. Like worth your time kind of prize. Like something. A substantial prize. Like an army box or something, something like that, or a paint box. I don't know, something. I think we learned something today, didn't we? We went over some stuff. We had some laughs. We went down the rabbit hole once or twice. We came back. We survived. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you, and I will see you. No, I won't see you guys next week because I'll be in Sword Brush. But if I can do any kind of live stuff, if the signal's strong there, I'll try and do some live stuff. Otherwise, I will see you guys the following week, or I might do it. No, I probably won't do it the following Monday or Sunday because I'll still be there. If I can do it this Sunday, I might do it this Sunday. Either way, follow me on Twitter because that's where I'll post stuff. That's where because it's really easy for me to do right off my phone. I just do it off Twitter. I just blah 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 blah, and I do it off Twitter. So, yeah, and Ben, I am going to steal that idea, but I think old Kris has to write a thesis on the evolution of miniature painting. And there's an excellent question by John, Dark Commission. Is non-metallic metal a fad, or is it part? Is it part of the game now? Is it yeah. I don't. Ben Ellis, would a pick on a rocket or missile count of yourself in the t-shirt on a rocket? Yeah, hell yeah. Does it count for winning the prize? No. I just said no. A Space Marine. A Space Marine or bust. Yeah, just like Old Man Logan said. Space Marine or bust. That's it. So remember, I want a picture of a shirt, Way of the Brush, or the monkey, on a Space Marine. Now, it could be the cardboard Space Marine, it could be the big muscular Space Marines they have, but either way, I'll send out a prize to whoever gets me that picture. The first one. Maybe the second one. I'm surprised nobody's jumped on this yet. I mean, I'm talking like, you know, substantial. We're talking something here. All right, I'm getting the hell out of here. Still here? Go home.